Wow, greetings and good afternoon, and welcome to Believe Radio, which is a 24-hour inspirational and gospel music station. The Eyes of the Conscious Soul with Sister Mellow brings to you every first Saturday of the month from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. This is called the Cafe Le Bleu Lounge, where there are 15 to 45-minute segments called The Corner. Each corner has a blueprint that is unique of its own. So we always ask you to vibe out to sometimes cool sounds and conversations that's fireside chats that's inspirational and bring affirmations to our community. The Cafe Le Bleu Lounge first part is called the Artist Talk. This is where we can showcase musicians, poets, singers, dancers, film producers, authors, comedians, gospel, and R&B rappers from around the Bay Area to across the globe. They share their creative process and their lived experience. The other part of the corner could be Why I Dream. We highlight and honor the inventions and creative work of today's brilliant minds along with the geniuses from our past. We are preserving African American history and culture in order to keep our legacy alive. The other part of the corner could be She Who Believes Takes Off the Mask. This is where we will hear from individuals sharing their personal testimonies to what the Lord has done and is doing in their lives, which are inspirational messages. Also, we are highlighting golden lights affirmations to impart healing medicine in the soil of the brilliant minds of today. Every second Saturday of the month is called the Medicine Hour. This is with Mr. George Pearson, founder and producer of Education is the Best Medicine. This is where we believe building a better tomorrow starts with us. Topics we cover: health issues and concerns, healthy eating habits, education, financing, and politics in the African American community. We believe taking care of our temple, mind, and spirit is essential to having mental wellness, healthy eating habits, most importantly, and knowing that healthy thinking leads to a healthy way of living. Every third Saturday of the month is the Education is the Best Medicine. The founder of Education is the Best Medicine, Mr. George Pearson. Education is the Best Medicine is a 501c3 non-profit charitable organization which is community-based, health education advocacy-based, and a resource-based organization that uses public media resources, radio, newspapers, and church-based community health fairs to provide information and education. Every fourth Saturday of the month, we have the Lights Out Straight Talk Youth and Young Adult Radio Show with my co-host, Mr. Doc. And then we also have The Voice and the Prince of Hearts. And this is where we highlight and have real talk conversations with our community, our young folks, talking about what's happening in the community. Also, every fifth Saturday of the month is called We Care. And this is where we have reentry and individuals that have experienced hard times in life. We just let them know that we care. But today, I want to say kudos out to my co-host, Mr. Rose. He's not in here with me today. However, I have two dynamic young folks that I called the call of our ancestors because of the work and who they are individually. I'm so grateful and thankful that they are here on the Cafe Le Bleu Lounge. And today, we just want to bring to you, we have Mr.
Kyron Loggins.
All right.
And I'm Jonathan Piper II.
All righty. And so we will go into the organizations that these young men are a part of. But however, before we go there, I would like to take our time to ask them some questions about themselves, because this is what it's about. We are here to, it's called Hood Scholars. So we want to know about what you're doing in the community, because this is why we're uplifting our community, but you guys are you're on the path to greatness, and you're already there. So tell me a little bit about yourself, your family, and whatever else you want to share.
For sure. Well, I'm Kyron. I was born in San Francisco, raised in Oakland.
Okay.
Spent most of my childhood in Oakland since I was about 5. So
All right.
Definitely.
What part of San Francisco?
Hunters Point.
Don't go there. I'm from Hunters Point.
Oh.
I was raised in Hunters Point.
Oh, you probably know some family.
Well, we got to know. So our family was Wendy's Cheesecake Bakery on 3rd Street, on 3rd and Crusader.
Oh, yeah?
We've been on that block for over 50 years.
My grandmother used to live on Crusader.
I know your family know us. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sure. But yeah, I've grown up my entire life in the Bay Area. Grew up as a child in Oakland, born in San Francisco, did college in San Jose. So the Bay Area is definitely all in my blood, all in my DNA.
Okay.
And forever I've gone all around. I went to so many different elementary schools, so many different middle schools, and got to meet so many people from, Vallejo and Concord and all those different places. My childhood and my upbringing just brought me all around.
Right on.
And so I got to see, I think, really early on, I think when you are from Oakland, that's definitely such a stamp to have on you. And I think you grow up and it's something you hold near and dear. It's like, I'm from Oakland. I don't know what y'all do in Hayward. I don't know what y'all do in Fairfield. I don't know what y'all do anywhere else, but I'm from Oakland.
Right.
But having gotten to be around all those places and like grow up a little bit, like a year here, a year there, I think really allowed me to be active in like making friends and meeting people and not really have so much of an insular type of mindset about it. And so I think we'll get into, of course, my org a little bit more, but in high school, I got acquainted with the Hidden Genius Project. I actually joined it as a student before I was ever working with them.
See, this is legacy. This is what I'm about. Y'all know Miss Howard's about legacy, creating legacy. So that's why you're here today. But
and that was just an experience that fostered and bolstered so many of my different passions and experiences. Before I'd even left high school, I got to do so many different cool things within not just tech, but like public speaking
Yes.
and with, business and making relationship building and stewarding. And so learning all these different things and kind of getting the, what do I want to do? You grow up and it's like, if you're smart, I think people are always like, oh, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be this. But there's so many different other things that you could be. You could be a creative director.
Come on.
You could be a program manager. You could be anything. And I think that really like blew my world up in a way that I ended up really having to think about, okay, well, now that you've had all these different experiences, what do you really want out of it and what do you want to pursue? So I do a lot of different things. I do photography, I do design. I'm really big on doing public speaking, like speeches and whatnot. And I really appreciate that I get to live all that out through that experience with my job and with my past experience with the Hidden Genius Project. But also, you have to shout out being from Oakland as a place.
And you better shout out to your family and friends. You better look right now. You better say,
just
hey, whoever you need
that allows you to do things like the Bayview Opera House, the Ruth Williams Bayview Opera House in San Francisco, named after my great grandmother Ruth Williams.
Wait a minute, that's not your grandmother knew my grandmother and our family.
Yes.
This is crazy.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And so having opportunities to perform there at really young, having attended OSA, which is a space that our community holds for young kids to, gain different skills and perform and kind of show off what they learn.
Right.
And just being from a community that really champions young Black kids.
That's what I'm talking.
And
that's
young
all you
Black
hear.
kids, exactly.
We want folks to know out there in Radio Land, we have some geniuses, we have some kingmakers, we have people that is in our community. That's why today is called Hidden Gems, because we want to make sure that we showcase. Ms. Howard definitely always will, till I die, showcase you all and make sure that whatever my platform is your platform. Because this is my responsibility. And I say that to all the folks, but go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that just having so many enriching opportunities as a youth and then those carrying into adulthood, I think really empower you. They really build your confidence up. And I feel like I'm living proof of it. And so now, like, fast forwarding into adulthood and bringing all those types of experiences back into what I do now, fundraising for my organization is really a dope experience because it's a little bit of all that. You put on these events, you promote these things, and you get to speak about it, and you really get to sing that song and tell that narrative and see it from that end of it. And so I think it's a really dope full circle moment that I'm at, having been a student and then having been a teacher of our org too, and now being on a role where I'm fundraising for it, making sure that teaching happens.
That's the legacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the legacy. And thank you for sharing, but you still didn't say something about the family. You better say their names. Yeah. You better.
And so actually, I spoke to you earlier before we started today about the Oakland the Oakland Drinks Water health fair that's happening in East Oakland on Verdes Carter Park. My mother, she is a program analyst for the city of Oakland, amongst other things. And so that's her event that she's putting on today. So definitely shout out to that. And she is such an advocate of a person. She is definitely, I think, where I get my fire from and my spark to really just want to be involved with my community and put things on and be out there as opposed to thinking about it and saying things on social media and, talking about it, and being about it.
That's right.
So I definitely learned that from her. And if you're out there and you listen to this and you have a chance to go, that's definitely something that's cool. You'll get to meet a lot of the different Oakland organizations that are doing some work out here.
Okay, right on. I may have to slide. I'm going to slide through there if I can get out some flyers. I definitely want to meet your mother. Definitely, it's a must.
Absolutely.
That I meet your family too. Mr. Piper.
Whew. That was a lengthy introduction.
That's right.
Kyron's whole life history
This is your show.
Yes.
So we got a full hour to do what we do.
Yes.
And this is to highlight you all. Go ahead, babe.
Well, first and foremost, thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure. We've encountered each other many times in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here. Jonathan Piper II's the government name, named after my father, raised in East Oakland, California. My mom's family is from Vallejo, so I spent a lot of time on that side. Anybody with the last name Johnson or Brown might be akin to my family. And raised in the church, grew up with my great grandmother, going with her to church, and then being able to take her. Once I got my license, that became our thing until the day she passed.
Okay.
lover of food,
Yes.
music, art.
You can see Miss B lose some weight.
You know,
Oh,
we
yeah.
are a community full of culture.
Yes.
So that's good. That's good. I live with my grandmother who is Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
and so I have a mixed family. Folks always don't see that, and so it's been fun navigating that.
Right.
Experiencing things that's happening in our ether when there's racial things happening,
Yeah.
and like sometimes explaining that to her. I would say my father and my uncle weren't like the conscious young men when you know what's going on and you're speaking about it, the public speaking and being a part of the organizations. Like that wasn't happening for them back then.
Right.
So for me, like when I'm watching the news, we had Stop Asian Hate and Black Lives Matter at the same time. And I'm like, that affects me in two different ways at the same time. So that's been really crazy. But for me, I graduated from Skyline High, class of 2019.
Okay.
I was an active student once I got into high school.
Mm-hmm.
I started with college track Oakland.
College track. My daughter went to college track San Francisco.
Nice. Yep.
Mr. Caton.
There you go. That's what gets you started, really, for me. I did college track.
San Francisco to Oakland, yeah.
Yep.
On Broadway?
Mm-hmm. That's where I am.
She was.
That's where I was.
Okay.
Yeah. So college track, did KDOL Youth Beat. So learning the media side. You did photography, and so I did videography, doing interviews with folks like that. Youth Together, which is a nonprofit, and now Kingmakers of Oakland. Mm-hmm. And so just been busy. I've been a DJ, a model, and working towards really developing for our young people. Just a part of the commencement at Chabot for 2023. Okay. So was able to graduate and still working on my AA. Thank you very much. Hey. I'm about to get an AA in mass communications. Mm-hmm. And yeah, out here working. So with Kingmakers, I was a family engagement coordinator, and now we actually have a location. So we're working on bringing students in to do media work, video production, audio work, so like music. We're telling our own narratives, but we're also making sure there's a black male who's in the classroom not 24/7, but when the students are on campus, that teacher's on campus with a specific curriculum to teach them about manhood, about respecting themselves, respecting women, being prepared for life, how to get out of the matrix. So we saw the movie, but that's also a lifestyle that a lot of us are being thrown into. Let's go. So we're really redirecting how our young people are being filtered throughout the system, through the education system, and then everybody says the prison, the pipeline. Yeah. What is it? School to prison pipeline. Yes. So how do we dismantle that and not only keep them off the streets, but give them outcomes that are going to be positive for themselves? Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now, you heard it here on Believe Radio on the Eyes of the Conscious Soul with your sister, Sister B. Mellow. I have some hidden gems in Oakland, California that we wanted to make sure that we bring to you. And then not only that, these young men will be definitely a part of this radio show and the different things that we do with the Eyes of the Conscious Soul. We will talk a little later, but however, I'm excited. I'm excited for what you guys have done and are doing in your lives as young black men. This is to me, this is the call again of our ancestors, and I'm so honored and grateful to be in your presence. This to me is the gems. This is what life to me is worth living. It's because I get to see in my lifetime young black men that's doing it, just not talking about it, but really taking the time out and moving forward and taking us forward with you. So tell us a little bit. Thank you, and tell us a little bit about your organization.
Absolutely. So I'd be remiss if I didn't give you our mission statement. The Hidden Genius Project, as we are. Mm-hmm. We train and mentor Black male youth in technology creation, entrepreneurship, and leadership skills to transform their lives and communities. Mm-hmm. And as of this summer, we started out in Oakland 11 years ago. Mm-hmm. Actually, our birthday, I think, is in a few days.
Oh, wow.
We're June babies.
Okay.
But yeah,
my birthday.
June 2012, we started in Oakland, and now we are in 6 different locations: Oakland, Richmond, Los Angeles, Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta. And operating internationally when we do our events and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I started back 7 years ago, actually, as a student. Mm-hmm. And so when I was in high school, I believe I was a sophomore, my mother had seen some posting from them through a friend and brought it to my attention. And my immediate reaction was no, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Our flagship program is our intensive immersion program. Mm-hmm. And it's a 15-month commitment. Mm-hmm. It's 2 summers in the school year. Mm-hmm. And so that's a 5 days a week, 7 weeks for the summer, from 9 to 4. That's a large commitment for a teenager, especially if you didn't have any summer commitments before.
Right.
So you can imagine that when I heard about it, it was a no for me. But over time, of course, my mom said, you're going to get up and go to that interview. I went to it. I still really wasn't sold. I ended up getting in. So once I got in, I did the orientation, and for a good week or two even into it, I still wasn't sold. You had me waking up in the morning during summer to go learn how to code and be a leader and be an entrepreneur and be all these things. But it took about, I think, 3 or 4 weeks, and they finally broke me. They finally cracked me. I finally started having a good time with it. I was really learning a lot, and I was meeting people I knew I would have never crossed paths with. Be it we just had different lifestyles, we grew up in different parts of the city, or we were doing different things. One might be an athlete, one might be on the debate club, and you might be the best of friends, but you just might never cross paths. And so I got to build so many bonds that I just would have never otherwise, while learning so many different things, how to make apps and websites, how to shake hands and how to talk to people properly, how to, conduct yourself and how to, view yourself as a man in America, as a Black man in America. And so I think that just having all those experiences, it's so rare to be, I think, if you are young Black, just to be in a room with 20 people who look like you, and it's not a sports team.
That's right.
And even once you get to adulthood, for a Black man to be in a room of 20 Black men trying to do something professional, and it's not a fraternity, is almost unheard of. And so I think that above anything else, we do tons of things, and we'll definitely get into that, but we create an environment. We create an environment that allows community to breed, and that community is what keeps our genius, as we say. Once a genius, as we call our students, always a genius, because it's that community piece and it's that environment that we've created and that we've fostered that really keeps them engaged and really keeps them coming back over 11 years, still stopping by the office to check on the one that's doing it in high school now, and building those relationships and bridging those bonds as well.
And that's a part of the legacy.
Yeah,
understanding that our people, as a matter of fact, we are the founders and the coordinator of the 16th annual Juneteenth celebration that's coming up June the 24th. We close out the Juneteenth in the Bay Area. It's on 32nd and Market Street, but on Rockhurst, between 32nd and Market and San Pablo. And it's going to be from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And however, I'm saying that is because this is the 16th year. This is the legacy. And as we talked about earlier, about people around you shaping you with community. And that's what my father did for us. We didn't have a choice. It was like, you owned the business. The people that came through that business was your family. Whether they came through there with a penny to billions of dollars, you're going to treat everybody the same, and you're going to uplift them. You're going to inspire them, and you're going to make sure, that I carry on doing what we need to do for our community. And that's why we continue to do the work that we do in the actual community. And through that, we started our nonprofit. It's called BH Brilliant Minds, and that's began healing brilliant minds. So that legacy, and what I'm hearing you both say is that you had people, that village, and we sometimes say the village, but our village is us. And we have to get back to what we know that works for us, not these other different things and no, we know our community, our families, our people, and to the ones that's out there that's working and they're older, you have to pour back into your community. It's a must. And this is where you come from. So how is it? It's hard for you to give back to where you come from, because you knew your struggle. So to me, I'm looking for a Black town. I know it's going to happen. They had one in
Tulsa.
in Tulsa and in Sacramento.
Okay.
In Sacramento, I can't think. Wow, last time I couldn't think of the name. I'll think of it maybe.
Because they don't want us to remember.
Yeah, there we go. Let's keep this real. And it is important that our people come back.
Yes.
And I'm grateful and thankful for both of your organizations, because you have men that's stepping up and saying, I have to go back into where these young men, because I was once them. Right. So I know how they feel. I know how they think. I know how they actually feel alone. And my questions to you both, growing up, a part of the struggle, a part of you finding yourself, how and what happened to you to make that transition? What type of people was in your life, or what kind of things that you've seen that was going on that like turned that switch on? I know you said the project that you're in with the Hidden Geniuses.
Yeah,
Mom taking you there, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think that it comes down to the realization that you don't exist in a vacuum.
Say that again, please.
You don't exist in a vacuum. You exist in the context of all the things that go on around you. You exist in the context of the communities around you and the people around you.
Yes.
And so we are especially trending towards a world where people don't even know their next door neighbors, where people go to school and they don't want to even know the person who's at their desk next to them. Everybody's in this mode where they really just want to do their thing and get theirs and go on. And then you have people who will complain about, oh my God, this crime happened and nobody called the police. Oh my God, my house was broken into and my neighbor was home and nobody said anything. Oh my God, all these things are happening and nobody's empathetic or compassionate. And the reality is there's so many people running from the idea of community because it takes a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of investment, and it does take a little bit of caring.
Yes.
Which is not the easiest thing to do all the time.
Yes.
But the alternative is we then exist in this world where everybody wants to know why your catalytic converter's gone.
Come on.
Everybody wants to know why nobody's in school and going to college and this and that and the other. And it's just like, no, everybody's out here on their own.
Yeah.
So you're so upset about the negative experiences you have with these people, but you have no concern about making sure these other people are having positive experiences. You don't want to see theft and criminals and whatever else, but when it comes down to voting for student loan relief, it's, I didn't go to college or I paid for mine already. You don't want to see anybody on the street. You don't want to see homeless encampments, but when it comes down to voting for relief for them, it's a no, and it's holding on to your dollars. And so at the end of the day, you can run from community all you want, but you're going to live in one till you die. So foster it or it'll hit you.
Oh my God. And now you guys understand when we say hood scholars. Hood scholars. These and it's just for me, not just the hood, it's the how you're uplifting, and what you're doing and what the conversations that need to be had and what we're bringing to the forefront, because we have to have these kind of conversations. And what's a beautiful thing for me is that I got two young Black men that's leading the way with this kind of conversation. And this is what we need. And a part of our program too is called Taking Control of Your Own Destiny. What I used to do was take the kids from schools when my kids grew up. So their teachers would reach out to me because I was community, and we knew I had doctors, lawyers, Jeff Adachi, public defender, and Keith Carson. So these are people that I knew. So what I did, I created tours for them to go. And even with the Chief Word, the police department, and Gloria, the lawyer, Miss Gloria, at the was the Wiley mainly on Washington, the courts. However, what these kids would do on the field trip, what I would have them do is they would go into the courtrooms and they would see these professionals do their work. The judges, the attorneys, the district attorneys, they would do their work. After they did their work, they would then meet them and have a conversation with them in the courtroom. And then they would have lunch with them. So, and I always told the folks, if you don't pour into these kids, then they're going to be the ones that's in your courtroom right now. So what do you want to do? What's the choice? How do we bring them and you speak with them and they have that conversation? Right. Our children need conversation. They need to know that they're important. They need to know and feel that they're valuable. And I had my friends that I knew that would do that just for that. And then Jeff Adachi, Keith Carson, all of them would do the same thing. And then what I would have them do, they wouldn't take them, they would be in their boardroom. Take my kids to where you have your meetings, where they can sit in those chairs and feel as though they're in the boardroom. It's like, oh yeah, I like the way this feels like it. Because I want them to be able to make decisions like you are. Yeah. And it's just, we need to get back to that. We need to, like you said, if we don't pour into our community and hold on to our dollars, then this is what we're going to have. This is what's happening. And it is what's going on. So it is what it is. Not saying it is what it is, but it's like if you don't pour back, stop complaining.
Right.
Do something. And God allows us to do things in our own little lane. We think we have to do some extravagant something. No. Just do something, like you said, the caring, the compassion, the empathy. Do something in your own lane. What is it that's burning in your heart or in your spirit that you would like to give to a human being? Mm-hmm. Do that. Just do that. So again, you have tuned into Believe Radio, which is a 24-hour inspirational and gospel music station. You are on the Eyes of the Conscious Soul with your sister Mellow. My co-host, Mr. Rose. He's not here today, but in his absence, we want to say kudos to you. Take care of yourself and enjoy the families. Every first Saturday of the month, we have the Cafe Le Blue Lounge, which is the corner. We have the Artist Talk. Why I Dream, She Who Believes Takes Off the Mask. Every second Saturday of the month is called the Medicine Hour with Mr. George Pearson. Education is the Best Medicine is the third Saturday of the month with Mr. George Pearson. And then we have the fourth Saturday of the month is called the Lights Out Straight Talk Youth and Young Adult Radio Show with my co-host. We have the Doc, the Prince of Hearts, and then we have The Voice. And then on the fifth Saturday of the month is called Voices That Care. And we talk about reentry and mental wellness. So, but today you have tuned in to the Cafe Le Blue Lounge, and I have these two hidden gems, community young folks and their organizations here in Oakland, California. And now that we say we're all over the world doing our thing, to continue on the conversation, as I was saying, about you being young men and what that turning point and that transition in your life.
Yeah. For me, what I grew up with, what I noticed, the turning point, was a lot of older men with traumas that were not resolved. And not just the men, but women as well.
Come on.
So, then within these last couple of years, everyone talks about the toxic masculinity. But there are women out there who have impact on young men too, with their energy. And so I'm not trying to blame anybody, but I'm just saying from both sides of the coin.
That's right.
I was in an environment where I would see adults who didn't know how to manage their emotions, didn't know how to speak to young folks, and did not know how their words impacted them. And so
words are alive.
Words have power.
Yes,
and so
do.
That's why music is a trending industry.
Say that.
And emotions, it triggers that. And I was a victim of someone who didn't want to exist in this world because of how people made me feel based on how they were talking to me. So my turning point was seeing the men who I didn't want to be like.
Yeah.
And being like, I'm going to do something different. Once I got into high school is when I started doing after school programs, and that's when things started to change. I didn't have to just do one thing. I wish I would have knew about Hidden Genes Project, because I was like, my mom was like, you should do computer science, because every time she got a new device, I was the one called to hook it up. And then I was like, okay, I liked computers. And then I got into public speaking through town halls, through the student union. So I was like, I'm going to go into politics, because I don't want to talk to somebody about what's going on and expect them to make those changes when they're not. So I want to be that person to make that change.
That's right.
And now communications, radio, all of that. Kingmakers is all about engage, encourage, and empower. Since you talk about your mission statement here in Genius, we have a crown that we crown to our kings, and teach them, like, this is your village that you're serving. A king isn't being served by everybody. You're supposed to be serving your kingdom. So what are you going to provide to them? Right?
Yes.
How are you looking when you're walking out the house and you're presenting for those people that you serve and who are a part of that village? So we engage, encourage, and empower, and we have to look at where folks are really at individually, not just as a collective when it's in the class, but where is your heart? Where's your mind? Where's your soul? My favorite teacher from high school, no disrespect to all the other teachers, I visit them and check out them, but what she said that stuck is that you can't teach a broken heart.
Oh, say that again.
You can't teach a broken heart. There's nothing going in and there's nothing coming out. So we really just got to look at where are folks at, how are we impacting folks with our words. afterwards?
Yes.
How are we impacting their future with this minute that we have? And so that's why I really go into the work that I do, being able to, like you said, pass back. I was lucky enough to be a part of this organization. I wasn't a part of the class. So Kingmakers, we are in Antioch for the moment, San Francisco, Seattle, and working with Gwinnett on some of their things. We're here in Oakland. Unfortunately, the district is making budget cuts, and people don't understand the importance of representation in the classroom. And so we're changing the narrative by helping our young folks see where they can be.
That's right.
But without the resources and without the support, you can't keep the work going. But yeah, my whole thing is being able to go back to that school and see those students and being like, I was in your shoes as someone who might not have graduated because they were cutting the Apex program, and I had to retake a class not knowing that my teacher could have just did the grade change for him. But that teacher left the school, so learning how to advocate for yourself as a Black man in the school system is something. We finally got the police that are out of the school system because OPD was spending not OPD, but OUSD, Oakland Unified School District, was spending millions of dollars on a personal police department for the schools. So
those funds could have went towards for the kids.
Exactly. So that finally, within the last 2 years, maybe last year, they finally got the officers out. But what are we doing with those funds? The teachers just went on a strike. So all that to say, we just need someone who's going to listen to us. I was going to say, I almost didn't graduate. There's other issues. There's so many things that's going on that's keeping our young people from wanting to succeed and wanting to believe in themselves. So how do we cast that net where folks are pouring back into them?
And on that note, I'm glad that you said that, because for me in school, I had a teacher that I loved that, even though I came from a family empowering, encouraging, the whole nine, but I had a teacher that I really, really was taken to, and she brought me in front of the class and told me that I wouldn't be able to be anything in this world. So then after that, I only had for high school, maybe 20 more credits to go. I just went, forget it, and just left in the whole nine. So, but I vowed that nobody under my watch wouldn't feel like that. And under my watch, you would never, in front of me, please don't. You will not talk to anybody negatively like that. Because I want to make sure that, like you said, words are alive, and adults in your life, when they say different things, it does affect you. So, but I vow, and that's why Miss B is who she is today, is because that's why I do the work that I do. That's why I give my platform as your platform, because I know the importance of that. I went through that. Almost killed myself at one point, admitted suicide. That was a total different thing. Almost went to jail for life for mistaken identity. So there's a lot of different things that I know that God's brought me out of those fires and the darkness, and brought me into the light, that I now know that I have to use my voice. I have to use my resources. I have to do what I need to do in order to make sure that we continue to keep the legacy. And I want to make a plea out there to anybody that's listening. You have 3 organizations here. We're asking you to pour into all 3 of them, or you can pour into whatever one touches your heart and God tells you to do. So we want to ask them, how can people get in contact with you? And the name of the organization again, because just like you said something very powerful, right? Both of you, is that we just need somebody to listen. We just need somebody we already doing the work. You already see what we're doing. We don't need all these deliverables, and we got that. Just give us the funds like you do to anybody else, without stipulations and all this. It's going to be successful because we already done the groundwork, the foundation. Pour into us. Give us what we need in order to move our people forward. And we need African American people. We need other allies to step in and really be a part of what we're trying to do. And that's BH Brilliant Minds Project, Inc.,
the Hidden Genius Project,
and Kingmakers of Oakland.
Yes. So we have 3 organizations here that's been doing the work, and we are pleading with our community, with folks all over the world, or whomever you may know individually, pour into us. help us do what the work we've been called to do. Something else you want to share?
And it starts by pouring into yourself.
Come on, let's go.
No, don't listen to the great things that people are saying about themselves, but listen to, in front of everybody. Listen to how they talk about themselves behind closed doors. Because how a person feels about themselves reflects how they will feel about other people. So we have a lot of people who are hurt who don't know how to give love to themselves, and they're out here casting demons and showing all this aggression and this hatred towards other people because they don't know how to get that to themselves. So now we're stuck with all their anger and everything that they just put onto us. And without loving ourselves first, we're stuck at their mercy of all the energy that they gave us. If you don't know how to handle that transition of energy. So when that energy comes in, we have to learn how to deal with it within ourselves. But also, if I already know not to take anything from this person for credit value because they are not feeding into themselves and being a healthy individual, that's how you really discern and then block. Discernment and then block. You got to discern and then block. Because I know my feelings have been hurt, but I got to realize this person, what are they doing? Where are they going in life? What affirmations are they talking about? What are they manifesting? What are they praying for? If they're not elevating themselves, there's no way they can de-escalate what's happening for me.
Come on, let's go. Come on, good scholars. Yes. Go ahead, babe.
I think the most important thing to me is if you're scared to plant seeds, you won't be living in the forest in the next 20 30 years. It's not going to happen. So everything that you look at today and you have a complaint about, if you don't want to do anything about it, if you're not concerned about either donating your time, your money, or your thoughts or your energy or whatever platform you might have to changing it, then you might as well be quiet about it. You might as well just let it be because it's not going to change on its own. The complainers tend to be pretty intelligent people who know what the issue is.
Can you say that once again?
Complainers tend to be intelligent people who can very well identify the issue. They can talk about it all day, actually. But what they very unoften do is get up and change it. And so I think as far as the Hidden Genius Project, our ask to you is if what you have to offer is money, please donate. If what you have to offer is your time, come visit us and come share your wisdom. If what you have to offer is the food you cook in your kitchen, or we might be able to talk about, hosting and catering, so there's tons of different things that you have to offer your community. It may not be $1,000 in your pocket. It may not be that you have a lot of things materially to donate. But if you think you're a person who has nothing to offer, you better not be the person who's up here complaining.
And
go ahead. No, you go. Y'all go. This is y'all show. Miss Howard just goes, do you?
Yes. For those who really need a real life account of what's going on, look up Ariana Preston. She was a 23-year-old Chicago officer, off duty, murdered in front of her house by four young black men who needed money for a barbecue and decided to go out for an armed robbery. This was in Chicago. And this young lady who was just about to graduate, who had just graduated, she was applying for the FBI, lost her life due to senseless violence. And these young men, once I started looking into it, there's so many cases of young men 17 years old who are already getting caught up in the system, getting guns. And it all starts wherever you at. It's not always starting at home.
That's
but
right.
Wherever you are, you have the opportunity to impact someone positively or negatively. So let's hope it's always positive. Whatever you do. If I see a young man sitting by himself with his phone, hey, what you looking at? You just start a conversation and then get to see what this person is thinking, who are they listening to, and just build off of it. But a lot of us are so quick to reprimand these young people, which sometimes we need it. I have a young cousin right now, 14 years old, and I'm ready to get the gloves. I'm like, you want to be, you finna nut while you buck, we talk, we gonna lay hands on you and pray afterwards. But you need some other hands right now because you can't get smart with the people who are trying to serve you and help you. So, and so we letting it pass, and it's not okay. These young people are, my cousin who's 5 got offered a vape pen by some other young kid.
Oh my God.
And it's like, y'all we gotta protect our children from even ourselves.
Yes. What? 5?
But my cousin is 5 and got offered it by, some other teenager.
Whoa.
So yeah, for all of our adults out there, when you just see a young person, give them encouragement. And we are so quick to judge them because our pants is down or our hair is twisted up and braided. But we all came from a home. We all have some, and unfortunately, a lot of us don't have somewhere to go. We don't have a parent or don't have a home. So that's when we really need the extra love from those other folks, because you can't blame us for something when there's nothing else for us to do. There's nowhere else, So that's why we say you got to pour into them and then find opportunities. I wouldn't be who I am, where I am, without the opportunities that supported me. So college track, Kingmakers, KDOL, Bank of America student leaders. Like one thing about it, you don't have to be just one dimensional. You don't just have to be a basketball player, football player, the IT guy.
What's happening? It's like, no.
You don't just have to be the nerd who's on TikTok and video games, but how do you branch out and apply multiple things? Even if you don't do all those things as a career, you can learn multiple areas, subjects, be multifaceted, and then it'll help you in life. So that's what I want to see more kids. And we want you to be well-rounded in English, math, history, and science. But we need to learn how to send off a drone, how to do CPR, how to communicate with each other. It's sad. We're forgetting how to communicate with each other.
And that's what I didn't mean to stop, but that's what I was back to saying. We are taking on something that's not us. It says I am because we are. Yeah. And it's like I see you.
That's great. I am because we are. That's Ubuntu. That's actually the grounding principle of the Genius Project. That's right. And it's funny, we did on the 31st of May, we opened up our Ubuntu Center, which is a tech center in our HQ, 14th and Franklin. 1441 Franklin Street, Oakland, California, 94612.
There we go.
And that is a center for the youth that's free of charge to them, with a recording studio and a 3D printer and laser printing, and you can make a clothing line in there. You got cameras and lights and everything, so you can make a podcast or a movie and whatever you want it to do. You go in there and you do it. And so Ubuntu, I am because we are.
That's right.
That's the grounding
Ubuntu,
principle of the Hidden Genius Project.
May the circle be unbroken.
Hey, may the circle be unbroken. Go ahead.
And it was a big labor of love. It's something that's 11 years in the making. This idea of, if you wanted to create something and the only thing that's stopping you is resources, because we got to be real about why these kids are in these positions that they are. You have kids who are artists. You have kids who have passions for business. You have kids who have all these things and they don't see a path to that that's legitimate. They don't see a path to that that's easy. So you might have a kid who at 14 decided he wanted to be a rapper. By the time he was 16, realized studio time costs $300 an hour. He ain't going to get that working a minimum wage job he's going to get at 16.
Right.
So what is he either going to do? Buddy up to somebody who has access to that, who may not be the best influence for him, or figure out a way to get that quick money.
That's right.
And so we have all these things, these barriers to what people really want to do. Very few people want to be the person under your car cutting your catalytic converter out at 3 a.m.
Right.
But you know what? If they don't have any resources otherwise, that's where they're going to be. And so I think it's so big for us to be able to open up resources. And, we've seen our journey just as a nonprofit, getting the money and getting the resources to open things like this. And so we're really excited to invite the community there. It is at that HQ 1441 Franklin Street, downtown Oakland. And it's a great place to be. If you have anything you really want to create there, you can probably make it in there.
That's wonderful.
And about Kingmakers, where the location is located?
We are at 1035 7th, I want to say Street. It might be Avenue, some fact check. I want to say 1035 7th Street.
Just pull up
7th. It used to be Zoo Labs, and now we have purchased it to make it Cool Labs. Oakland. Cool Labs. Similar work to Hidden Genius Project. Shout out to Hidden Genius Project. I have a homie, Trey, who's a member of Hidden Genius. And I met Brendan, who is he the CEO?
Yeah, the CEO. Trey Germany?
Trey Germany, yeah.
Actually, a COVID member.
Yeah. So we have some cross-pollination going on with
and
the
that's what we do. That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. We also have podcasts. We have a media academy. So teaching young men and young ladies how to do media, how to create narrative change. So academic, so we do academics because it's in the classroom, but we also go beyond that. We do film, media, we travel. So I've gone to so many, New Orleans, Chicago, Washington, D.C. Like I've done the more traveling through the organization than I did personally.
Right.
Being able to speak with other students who are navigating similar experiences, and then we talk about how we're going to make change and then create content that we get paid for to make that change really happen and document that.
Wow. So the other host that I have that hosts with me, A couple of them are from downtown Tay, and that's another hidden gem that we have in Oakland, and then Homies Empowerment. So those are the other organizations. Those are the ones I was telling you guys I want to get you all together, and we got some stuff we gotta do. Right. And but to have you all be a part of this conversation and guiding the adults.
Yeah. And each other.
And each other. You know what I'm saying? So adults out there, you hear it today, how geniuses these young folks are. How they're gems. They're in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing with the organizations that they're in. And we as a community should be proud of them, and we should pour back, we should give back. And I also want to the organizations that sponsor this show is Elevate Gospel Ministries, that's PLA, Pastor Larry Austin. And then we have NAMI Contra Costa is who I work for. So again, Cal Hope Warm Line for the African American NAMI Contra Costa is 925-465-3864. You can connect with us on calhopeconnect.org or NAMIContraCosta.org. And we have programs that uplift our African American people. We have a grief support group. You have Living with Purpose support group, an African American support group, Men of Wellness and Faith support group, Family to Family, Incarcerated Individuals support groups. So you can reach out to NAMI Contra Costa, and we are the African American Uplift program that will bring our folks together and making sure that you have what you need. Again, the warm line is 925-465-3864. The website is NAMIContraCosta.org. And these services, what we bring from Contra Costa County, is the first African American centered non-clinical support program designed to support peers, families, and the community. So we definitely want you to make sure that you reach out to NAMI Contra Costa, that's doing the work in our community, uplifting, and we're looking to create a African American hub. Also, like to bring all of our organizations together under one umbrella, and being able to have a community, a big space that have us all in there, that we can, as our folks, have an opportunity to be able to rise up. And this is what we're asking for our community to do. This is what we're here today, is letting you know that you can rise up. Don't let nobody stop you from rising up. And whatever you need to do to get your mental together, to get your heart together, to get your spirit together, to be around people, to be around organizations that's going to move you forward and have you tap into the genius that's in the brilliance that's in the kings makers that's inside of you, to really be effective in this world, because we can do it. We come from kings and queens. You know, we come from a royal line of folks that made it happen. And we definitely need to make sure that we pour back. Again, we want to invite you to the 16th annual Oakland's Juneteenth celebration and street festival on Saturday, June the 24th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then we have, it's on 32nd and Brockhurst Street between Market and San Pablo. We close out the Juneteenth in the Bay Area. And our sponsors are HHREC. We have the Black Culture Zone, Alameda County, Behavioral Health. We have the NAACP. We have NAMI Contra Costa. We have St. Mary's, West Oakland Youth Center, BH Bring Your Minds. And we have the Hip Hop TV. We have the Black Business Association group. And we have so many others that's pouring into this particular event. As I said, we close out the Juneteenth in the Bay Area. Please don't forget to come out, bring your family and friends, and just have a day of celebration and loving on folks and being educated, and just being able to be a part of the activities and the fun that we're going to have that day. But what I want to ask in our few minutes left is, what do you do for self-care? What do you do for self-care? Anybody can share.
Well, one, I go to therapy.
Okay, and it's nothing wrong with therapy.
See, we all therapy. Yeah,
come on, say that.
Everybody should be at therapy.
Everybody
have the means for it.
And there's organizations out there that
will help you
I
out.
Can
Absolutely
introduce them to. You got the Bay Area Black Psychologists. There's other organizations that we can tap into that has those. But go ahead.
Absolutely. Two, tapping in with the pieces of your village that you do go to for fun, for relaxation, and making sure that you are having a social life outside of, all the great work that you might be doing.
That's right.
And all the things that you might have going on at home.
Right.
And then lastly, really just making sure I save time for myself to get into my hobbies and, have time to crop out leisure time, not just saying, oh, well, I'm off work now and that's that. But, actually scheduling. All right, well, from scheduling me in. Absolutely, because you schedule everything else and you don't miss those days.
That's
so schedule time for yourself and you won't miss it.
Wow.
Glad you started. Definitely, I say therapy. I call it mental health awareness or like advocacy. I say that's my mental health mentor or supporters, because some people don't, are still turned off by it. Green Light Clinic, that's who I go through for free therapy for young men who are under the age of 24. Green Light Clinic. You can look them up. And free therapy for the Bay Area youth under the age of 24, I want to say. I have a lot of young men's groups that we're in. There's Determination Black Men's Group. There's a men's group that I have.
Create the Space.
Exactly.
Create the Space. Denzel.
We call it Young Mastermind Group. We meet on Zoom on Mondays. And so I put myself in a lot of organizations.
Yeah.
Massages. The body has a lot of tension. So
and you did tell me, you said one day, Miss Howard, I'm going to give me a massage. I said, look, I need to be making meal for me to give me one too. But go ahead.
Yes. Was that at Create the Space? We were somewhere. We ran into each other.
Yeah. No, we were. We were at they had the screening. The screening.
At Moxie.
Yes.
So I started working out like the year I graduated, which is 2019, and I've been in the gym since with a trainer. And so learning your physical body, like limitations, but also just health. So eating right, I definitely want to cut out all of the processed things, go vegan, vegetarian, and start juicing things. But it's a process. And it's a financial burden.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. But at the moment, just making sure I go to Kumi Spa, give me a good 2 hour reflexology, something like that. And then I was going to tell young people, don't be afraid to ask for help, and also put down the drugs, because there's one thing going on: fentanyl poisoning. So folks is getting drugged from. Look, your marijuana is getting spiked, but also people doing pills like the I don't know if you can. Xans, I don't do those, but I don't do any of those pills. But I hear folks is getting, taken out from fentanyl, from overdosing, and it's a tragedy, and it's been happening for generations. And it's an epidemic, the opioid epidemic, and then we had the crack cocaine epidemic for our people.
That's right.
And D.L. Hewley talks about the difference between a white person on opioids and a black person on crack.
Come on.
But so just young people, there's a lot of things going on, but how we deal with our recreation. Read a book, go for a walk. I do walks in the city sometimes. I do the Cascade Stairs across from the lake. Breathe. If you got an Apple Watch, your watch. I would be in class and my watch would be like, breathe. I'm like, what you mean I'm not breathing? So take a deep breath, learn how to count, meditate, like literally. If you like music and you don't think you can do jazz and just the waterfall sounds, listen to a rap song with just the instrumentals and slow it down a little bit. And put down your phone when you wake up, before you wake up, and when you go to bed. Before you go to bed, when you wake up. And I struggle with that too, but I'm telling y'all that because I know the difficulties, because I'm always like talking to young people. I'm like, look, I know what y'all going through because I go through it or I went through it, and it's still a journey. But those are the tips. Decompress.
That's it. Well, final words that you would say, and I want you to look in that camera to whatever God gives you to say to the community and to young folks. I get the what you just said, but for someone that's sitting there and it's like, or to a parent, that has a troubled child or just dealing. What would be your parting words for today?
Absolutely. Well, if you've heard me say anything about my organization that you're curious about or you just want to learn more, you can email us at contact@hiddengeniusproject.org. You can check us out at hiddengeniusproject.org, or Hidden Genius Pro on Instagram, Twitter, and whatnot. But outside of all that, just, care, do things, and be active. I think that a lot of conversation goes on about awareness. A lot of conversation goes on about like the knowledge of it, but we all live it. And so we all know what's wrong. Everybody can get up and tweet about it. Everybody can get up and write a Facebook rant about it. And so the awareness is there. I think it's the action that's not. And so if you're a person who has anything to give and you have anything to offer your community, then do that. It may not always be in the most flashy way. It may not be the biggest, grandest gesture. Right. But if you're just somebody who's going through this world, taking, and you ain't giving, well, you're the problem.
My advice for all those, especially our young people, find what it means to be yourself and then do that unapologetically. I as a photographer, as someone who's in media, at one point someone discouraged me from taking photos. Oh, you're so conceited, so full of yourself. But I'm a model and a photographer. You get paid to do that. I used to always text people, and someone was like, "Oh, you can't be bothering people when they're at work." And then someone was like, "Oh, what's wrong? I don't hear from you all the time." Someone was like, I made them feel good on a day when they just didn't think that anybody was thinking about them. Right. So when you find something that makes you feel good and you find that other people enjoy it, don't let anybody else deter you from being who you are, especially when it's your parents or someone who you love who doesn't understand your impact on other people. No one will always see your impact on others, but the person who you impacted will always feel that and usually will remember that. So find what it means to be yourself. And for our parents, allow your children, your young folks, our guardians, if you're not a parent, if you're an adult around a young person, allow them to experience what it's like to develop a personality. I was watching SWAT. Shout out to those who watch SWAT on Netflix now. I just got to the episode in season 2. It's called School. And we all know what's been going on in these schools with these young people. When I'm not just talking about acting wild, but a lot of young people are losing their lives because of what's going on. So I say that to say, parents, you impact them by what you say, but also just be mindful of how they're feeling, how they're engaging. Look for the signs of what depression looks like. That's right. Because as we both just had a peek of what that was like, but you don't always see the signs. Yes. Someone is smiling, someone is happy, but deep down, my depression was because when I was 10 years old, my god sister died of an overdose, and I wasn't able to go to the funeral to say goodbye. Yeah. So for a long time, I was grieving for somebody, and grief is a powerful thing, especially with this pandemic, losing a lot of people due to COVID or just old age. So all that to say, there's just multiple things. You got to be aware of what's happening. When folks tell you what's going on and that they could have been the ones sad or depressed or the ones killing themselves, don't be like, what you got to be depressed for? No, that couldn't be you. Because it's really the ones who be happiest who are using their happiness to shield from the darkness and the things that's going on until it takes over. So all that to say, continue to shine your light, burn bright, and never, never compromise for those who don't understand who you are on the inside.
Wow. Well, you heard it here on the Eyes of the Conscience Soul with your Sister B. Mellow. I have these hidden gems in Oakland, California that I am so grateful to have them in my life. I thank God for bringing them in my life, and I'm so happy. I'm so grateful I can continue to live because I know I got them. And I got they back, they got my back, and we're going to work this thing together. And I'm excited about where God's going to take us and the things he's going to take us and what we're going to do together. So, again, you heard it on the Eyes of the Conscience Soul with your Sister B. Mellow on Believe Radio, which is a 24-hour inspirational and gospel music station. And today you were on the corner on the Cafe Le Bleu Lounge. And to my sponsors, thank you again. Elevate Gospel Ministries. We just want to appreciate all that you do. And we going to do this thing together. You guys have a wonderful day. God bless you. And we'll talk to you later.
See y'all soon.
Thank you.
See ya. Lights out.